Welcome, everyone, to the second annual Army-Navy Trivia Challenge, brought to you by the good folks at the Paramount Veterans Network. Well, if you were with us last year, the inaugural edition of this fantastic game was a lot of fun. And Team Navy took it in a sudden death playoff. That's how close it was. Nip and tuck came down to an extra question and answer. So that also means Team RV might be looking for some revenge. A quick refresher on our rules. This is how it works. Every round, it will be one Navy participant against an Army participant on a single question. Whoever answers it correctly first gets points for their team. The questions are going to be a mix, some general military background and knowledge, of course, some questions related to Army-Navy football lore. Our first round questions are valued at 1 point per correct answer. You get points, you get your feet wet a little bit. Second round, it doubles. Each correct answer is worth 2 points. The championship round, that's winning time. 5 big points. The first one to hit me in the chat box gets called upon. If that first response is wrong, the opposing player gets a chance to answer. So let's first go around and get to know everybody. The Paramount Veteran Network contestants will learn a little bit about you, about your military service background, what you focus on here at Paramount. So let's start with Team Army, and we have a couple of Wills on the team. Let's begin with Will Gaucher, a repeat participant. You're back to the fray. Welcome on back, man. Tell us a bit about yourself.
Hey, John, thank you. And yes, we are back for revenge in round 2 this year. I'm Will Gaucher. I am an Army veteran, a former infantry officer, and I joined Paramount Veterans Network last year after I separated from the military. And like I said, I'm excited to be here, ready to get this win today.
I love it. Let's go to William Kelso, another repeat participant. Welcome back. Perhaps victory will be yours this year.
Thank you, John. I sure hope so. As they say, where there's a will, there's a way. And for us, we have 2 of them. So let's go Team Army. I'm Will Kelso, a proud Army combat medic veteran. And like my friend Will was saying, we're back here for round 2, seeking revenge because the Army's going to take it all the way this year.
I love it, and I love wearing the colors, too. We'll see a little bit of pride throughout the course of this, and feel free if you want to trash talk the opponent from time to time. That's all in the good fun. Rounding out Team Army, new to the program, Janina Rios. Janina, welcome. Tell us a bit about yourself.
Hey, how's it going? Thank you for having me this year. I'm pretty excited. Army's going to take it this year, just like we won last year on the field. Not in this game, but we won on the field, so that counts. I'm an Army veteran, of course, and I was in for 7 years. I did commo, pretty much anything for communications, and I'm excited to take this one with you guys. Let's go.
I like that, and I like invoking the on-field result, adding a new layer to the fray. Of course, that's what this is all centered around, the historic Army-Navy game. Well, now it's time for the reigning champs. We go to Team Navy, and we welcome Kevin Brown. Kevin, welcome. Tell us a bit about yourself.
Hi, John. Thank you. My name is Kevin Brown, proud Navy veteran. I was an enlisted logistics specialist. Joined Paramount back in 2016 through the Veterans Network. Started off at CBS Radio, and now I'm with the corporate global sourcing team. Looking forward to beating Army and taking it this year.
The virtual background is a really nice touch. It's one of the major pluses of being here virtually for Army-Navy trivia. Let's meet your teammate, Kawanda Smith. Welcome on back, Kawanda.
Thank you. I'm happy to be back. I have to take these Army egos down, first of all. And I could have sworn we won last year, but okay. I'm a veteran of the Navy. Was a machinist mate, and I am here at Paramount in Human Resources Data Management, and I am looking forward to winning today and on the field. It's going to be Navy Day.
I love it. And right from the cockpit, too. I think we got up another notch with our backgrounds. Well, rounding out Team Navy, Ricky Enrique. Ricky, welcome. Tell us about yourself.
Thank you, John. I was here last year. I saw the Navy win this game last year, so it was great to kind of bring that energy back, and we're gonna take it away. I used to be a Master at Arms in the U.S. Navy, enlisted, And yes, and I'm a part of Paramount Veterans Network, and I'm here to have fun. I'm here to win.
I love it. Well, welcome. Good luck to everybody. Let's have a good time. We're going to go right to round number 1. And our first matchup will have Will G against Kevin. So both be at the ready. Have your chat box open. Be ready to message me if you believe you know the correct answer. Question number 1. We ask, what are the team nicknames of Army and Navy? The Army what and the Navy what? Kevin, you're up first.
The Army Black Knights and the Navy Midshipmen.
That is correct. Well, we have one to Kevin right out of the gate. That's point number 1. Now we go for the same pairing to question number 2. There are 3 components of the military reserve: the standby reserve, the retired reserve, and the blank reserve. Will?
The active guard reserve. So,
Incorrect. Kevin, you have a chance to take it.
The
The
inactive.
standby? Incorrect. The ready reserve. The ready reserve. Both gave it a good shot. No point to be had there. So now your duel concludes with question number 3. And this goes back to something teased as we first came on the show. Last year was a first in the history of the Army-Navy football game. Army bested Navy in a thriller 20-17. But what about that game was a first in the contest's 123-year history? This had never before happened in Army-Navy until last year. It added to the interest. Will, what do you got?
I'm going to say that it ended on a last-second field goal, last-second score. That's just the best guess
We've seen games end in that way to some extent, but there was a different nuance. Kevin, what kind of drama was there?
Did it go to overtime?
It went to overtime! Just like Army-Navy trivia went to sudden death last year, Army-Navy on the gridiron went to overtime for the first time in the game's history. And there is another point. We go on now to our second matchup. This is still round 1. It's worth 1 point each. It's going to be Will K against Kawanda. Be at the ready. Have your chat box open. First one to type their name to me gets a chance to answer. Question number 1 for Will K and Kawanda. In what city is this year the 2023 Army-Navy game being played? What city? Will?
Total guess out of the dark. Is it being played in Annapolis this year?
It is not. Incorrect. Kawanda, you have a chance to steal.
I want to say Philadelphia.
That is the usual home of this game, but not this year. This year, it's the first time it's ever in New England. Foxborough, Massachusetts, the home of the New England Patriots. But good guesses for both. Question number 2, Will K and Kawanda. How many branches are there in the United States military? Will?
Well, with the addition of our youngest sibling, the Space Force, that makes 6 branches.
That is correct. Army, Navy, Marine Corps, Air Force, Coast Guard, and now the Space Force. That's another point in this first round matchup. We move on now to matchup number 3. Still the first round. Each question worth 1 point. Janina taking on Ricky. Be at the ready. Chat box open. Type in if you think you know the answer. How many times will these two rivals have faced off when they play on Saturday? Will this be the 114th, the 124th, or the 134th all-time matchup? Ricky, you were in first.
I'm going to say 124th.
124th is correct. I might have given a little bit of a tease on an earlier question. It helps to pay attention during this. Sometimes you can see a little bit of foreshadowing. That is right. That's good for a point. Your next question, Janina and Ricky. Before officially becoming its own independent service branch in 1947, the Air Force was part of what other service branch? Before Air Force was by itself, Ricky.
The Army.
The Army, that is correct. The Air Force was part of the Army when it was first founded. That's another point. So we are through the first round. Our judges now tabulate the scoring, and we'll get a feel now for where everyone stands. It is a pretty daunting lead after one. Navy with a 4-1 edge. So it's 4-1 Navy, but remember, the point totals go up. So while there was a decisive lead in the number of questions answered correctly, the value doubles. It's round two. So it is now 2 points per correct answer. You can make up that deficit quickly, Army or Navy. You could boat race a little bit, I guess pun intended in that case. We're going to go back to Will K against Kawanda to get us going in round two. Question number one, chat box at the ready. Which service academy, Air Force, Army, or Navy, holds the record for most Commander-in-Chief's trophies? Founded back in 1972, Kawanda.
I am going to say the Navy.
Incorrect. It is not Navy. A chance to steal here for Will K. You got a 50-50 shot.
You know, truth be told, I'm not the biggest sports guy. I want to say Army because I am a soldier, but something's telling me that this one may be the Air Force.
And you are spot on. You are right. Air Force with 21. This year's Army-Navy game will have impact in that regard, as Army was able to upset Air Force during the course of the years. So if it can win this game, it will outright claim the CIC. Let's go to question number two for Will K. and Kawanda. There have been 45 United States presidents. How many of the 45 have served in the military? We have a multiple choice. Is it A, 26, B, 31, or C, 33? Kawanda.
I want to say 26.
A, 26 is incorrect. So, Will, you have a chance to claim it. You got a 50-50 shot. Of the 45 U.S. presidents, how many served in the military? B, 31 or C, 33?
Ooh, I want to say B, 31.
That is correct. And that's a couple of points for Team Army. Let's round it out. Your head-to-head concludes with this question. Which state has the highest percentage of adult residents that are veterans? Kawanda.
So do we get a multiple choice? Or is
Unfortunately, not on this one, no. This is open answer. So you got a 1 out of 50 shot here.
My first thought was DC.
Incorrect. Will.
I am going to take a stab in the dark again and say it is our Lone Star state of Texas with the most veterans.
Very good guess, but unfortunately, no. Per U.S. News and World Report, Alaska leads the way. 10% of Alaska's residents, 1 out of 10 adults that you meet, served in the military. Wyoming second, Virginia stands at number 3. So it's not total number, but it is by percentage Alaska. We'll move on here in round number 2, still worth 2 points per. Janina, you are up against Ricky. Be at the ready, chat box set. Question number 1. When was the first Army-Navy game played? Was it 1890, 1900, or 1910? Ricky, what do you got?
I'm going to say 1910.
1910 is incorrect. Janina, you got a 50-50 shot. 1890 or 1900?
I'm going to go with 1890.
1890 is correct. It was in West Point, and Navy took it 24-0 in the first ever matchup. Question number 2 for Janina and Ricky. This has some overlap with Paramount Plus. What is the name of David Boreanaz's character on Paramount Plus's SEAL Team show? Ricky.
Oh man, I really do not know the answer right now.
Janina, you got a chance to steal.
Yeah, I always called him David.
I think
not
of him
too sure.
as being on Buffy the Vampire Slayer or on Bones most of the time
Yeah.
myself. But his character
Bones.
name on SEAL Team is Jason Hayes. He is Master Chief Jason Hayes of Bravo Team. All right, we got a new matchup. These questions are tougher. That's why the point value is going up. Will G about to take on Kevin. So have your chat box ready. It's trivia time. Question number 1 for Will G and Kevin. The famous quote, "Damn the torpedoes, full speed ahead," was attributed to the first admiral of the Navy. Was that A, George Dewey, B, David Farragut, or C, Chester Nimitz? Kevin.
It was C.
C, Chester Nimitz is incorrect.
Yeah.
So a chance to steal here. Will G, what do you got? A, George Dewey, or B, David Farragut?
I am going to go with my heart here and not my gut, and I'm going to go with A, Mr. Dewey.
A, George Dewey is unfortunately incorrect. It is David Farragut, whose name appears on buildings throughout the Naval Academy campus and is written in a lot of its lore. You have a chance, though, at redemption here immediately within this round. It's question 2, again worth 2 points. This is the final question of round 2. Which coach has the most wins ever in the Army-Navy game? Is it A, Jeff Monken of Army, B, Ken Niumatalolo of Navy, or C, Red Blake of Army? Will.
I am going to go with C.
With which letter, I'm sorry?
C, Charlie.
C, Charlie, Red Blake, incorrect. He was the longtime record holder, but had that record broken. A chance here to steal. What do you got, Kevin?
I will go with B.
B, Ken Niumatalolo. That is correct. And this year will mark the first time since 2007 that the legendary Coach Ken will not be on the Navy sidelines. Spent many years as an assistant, later became the head coach. He's been replaced by his former assistant, Brian Newberry, who's making his head coaching debut in the Army-Navy game with the midshipmen. So as a result of some near misses and some big points, we got ourselves a heck of a trivia contest. Through 2 rounds, Army has the narrow lead 7-6. So these questions are going to have major import. There's only going to be 1 question per matchup to get you mentally prepared. It is all or nothing in your 1 question. Every correct answer here is worth 5 points. 7-6 Army to the championship round. Who will be the victor in 2023? We're going to begin with Janina and Ricky. At the ready, your lone question worth 5 points in this championship round. Veterans Day traces back to Armistice Day, the 11th hour, the 11th day, the 11th month. In what year was the first Armistice Day commemorated? A, 1909, B, 1919, C, 1945, D, 1953. Ricky, what do you got?
I'm going to say 1945.
C, 1945 is incorrect. Janina, you got a chance for 5 points here.
Okay, I'm gonna go with fingers crossed 1919.
B, 1919 is correct. A year earlier, hostilities had ceased in World War I, and that is what Veterans Day traces its roots to. That's a big 5 points.
But was
Now
it go
Army.
Navy?
That is now a 12-6 Army lead. So, Will G, Kevin, you guys are up. This is huge. This is the last year that Army will be a football independent. Next year, they are joining the same football conference as Navy. Now, this matchup, Army versus Navy, will still be a non-conference game. But what is the name of the conference that Army is joining? Is it A, the ACC? Will, what do you got?
They are joining the Mountain West Conference.
That is incorrect. That is the home of the Air Force Academy, but not the current home of Navy or the future home of Army. So I'll go through all the options here. Kevin, A, ACC, B, Patriot League, C, American Athletic, D, Pac-12. What do you got?
B, Patriot League.
That is incorrect. They are already members of the Patriot League for their other sports, but in football, it's the American Athletic Conference, the AAC. So that means our score remains 12-6. And with only 5 points here, we're going to give the last question so we have the history of the integrity of the scores. Will K against Kawanda. Your last question in this championship round, what does the military term JAG stand for? J-A-G as in JAG Corps. Will.
What is the Judge Advocate General?
That is correct. The Judge Advocate General Corps, a military justice branch. That means 5 extra points there, pounded on for Army, and Army has claimed it in convincing fashion. What a roaring comeback in 2023, a 17-6 victory. Reason for you guys to celebrate. Congratulations, Army. Congrats to Navy as well. You gave it a great shot. Thank you all for your service. We invite you to enjoy the Army-Navy game, and thank you to all those at the Paramount Veterans Network. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, John.
Thank you, John.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Go Army, beat Navy.
Thank you, John. Go Army.
Go Navy, be Army.
Go Army.
Until game day and until next year, John Sadak signing off for Army-Navy Trivia 2023. Army claims it 17-6.